CGN family, welcome to another Ashes Creation video. This is going to be Weapons Part 3. I am Brad and this is Miss Say. That's how you say it, is Miss Say.
I have to start like changing the spelling of my name.
Yep. Well, I mean, whenever I text it, it's M-I-S and then all capital S-A-Y. Miss Say.
I know.
So anyways, guys, as you've been seeing, I've been throwing up some new weapons as we go along with this. So Missy picked the pink-purple one here. I would say it would be more so pink. I mean, I guess it is purple, but it's violet?
It's magenta.
Magenta. Ah, okay. So, yeah, it's pretty cool, though. Like I said, you know, it all comes in different colors, though, according to all the pictures that I've seen. So anyways, guys, let's move on to class, weapons, and armor, and Missy, take it away and not at your leisure this time.
It's always at my leisure.
Right.
Alright, class, weapons, and armor. Weapons and armor are not class locked, but certain classes are more efficient with certain types of weapon or armor. Certain abilities require certain items to be equipped. Ranged weapons, shields, and two-handed weapons. Weapons are intended to be somewhat agnostic in the sense that you can find a way for a weapon to be utilized by different classes. Not just the rogue is going to be able to use daggers, because if you restrict equipment through that, it makes the economy more difficult to have sustainability across the market of items. So racial weapons and armor. Weapons and armor are not race locked, but armor will take on a racial appearance. Racial appearance of gear is focused on armor, not weapons. The customization of equipment per race is really focused on armor sets, not weapon props. Weapon props will, from a model standpoint, will translate pretty one-to-one across the races. Let's say, for example, you have the Eagle set or something, right? The Eagle set has in art. It has a thematic design that's going to include certain attachments to the armor. It's going to include color palette and theme. It's going to have some aspects to it that define it as the Eagle set, right? When an elf wears the Eagle set, or when an orc wears the Eagle set, you obviously have two different cultures there, and you don't want to stomp out that culture by assigning a de facto, this is the Eagle set and this is how it looks on everybody. What we want to have is cultural influences to play a role in showing how that set looks.
And this is why we make Missy read these.
They're not worded very well, which makes me stumble as I try to read them.
Right, it's like eagle set, eagle set.
It's like eagle set, right? Set.
Right?
I do my best, guys, with the product that I'm given, the lines I'm given. I'm only as good as the script writer.
Right.
Alright, so racial appearance of gear sets is tied to the character model of that race. When you say, what if I'm an orc but want to look like an elf and I want my eagle set to be the elf representation? Well, the issue becomes that, orcs have a different organic model. Their body is different than that of the elf. So from a scope creep standpoint, it's one thing to add different influences that represent the cultures that are donning the armor. It's another thing to adapt each influence as a matrix that can be worn pretty much by everything. From a scope perspective, that's a very difficult task for the character artist to kind of tackle. So instead, what we've done is, in order to facilitate a variety of cultural representation between the races but allow for the sharing of assets like different armor sets, we give different representation of those armor sets to each race.
Here, here.
Oh yeah.
Here, here. All right, so we got gear slots. So there are 16 gear slots. Stop
the drinking, Brad.
Too many Red Bulls, man. Too many Red Bulls. So there are 16 gear slots in Ashes of Creation. There's 8 armor slots, 5 jewelry slots, 2 weapon slots, 1 range slot. So items on back and belt, which we're going to be taking a look at later in our armor videos. So items attached to a character's back or belt represent items they are in possession of. Players can set the appearance priority of the items they wish to show. Only one item can show at a time, and that is determined by a player's choice. So according to Steven, it says the idea is to kind of move away from the mundane kind of application of belts in previous MMOs where they don't really have a lot of character, so to speak. But in reality, as an adventurer, you come with a lot of tools and things that you have to use out in the wild in order to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So we wanted to kind of represent that on your character and give you something that actually be tangible for your character and see there. I think it adds a lot of character and flavor to your identity. So more so, kind of probably like RP aspects right there. So your backs,
not like Final Fantasy,
yeah,
where the belts are useless.
Well, they're just getting rid of them and endwalkers. So back slots include ranged weapon, shield, cloak, accessory, aka back, etc. Belt, hip slots included. Weapon, melee weapon, 2 slots, 1 on each side. Potion, pouch, or scroll. So you're actually really going to be able to like deck out your stuff. It's going to be like a wrestling belt. Let's see, according to Jeffrey Bard, there'll be a priority system behind that'll determine, do I show the bow if the greatsword is unequipped, or do I show the polearm if the greatsword is unequipped? So it'd be pretty cool that you get to flaunt your weapons even without them not be... it's like one thing, if I remember in like World of Warcraft, like your weapon and your shield will but a lot of them just disappear. For the most part, I feel like they just kind of disappear, but so it's cool that you'll be able to actually not just have those things like just showing them basically, but you'll also be able to arrange them and stuff. So ranged weapons. A character may equip up to two-handed weapons. Okay, a character may equip up to two-handed weapons and also wear a ranged weapon on their back. Characters perform ranged abilities which will switch to the ranged weapon, then can switch back to the melee weapon and the shield or two-handed melee weapon. The weapon held in the main hand slot determines the active weapon ability. So Steven said, do I want my main hand to be a ranged weapon or do I want my main hand to be a melee weapon with regards to skill usage? For example, with the ranger, if you have a ranged skill, it'll automatically swap regardless of what your main weapon hand is. But for the combat ability for the auto attack feature, it will be your chosen weapon. Rangers are going to have a minimum distance requirement where they're eligible to use their ranged weapons, while melee characters have a max distance proximity where they'll eligibility to use their sword and melee weapons. Rangers are going to have the minimum distance requirement. So that's pretty much just like any game, really, like World of Warcraft. If I'm too close, like with my hunter right now in Classic, I have to switch to melee. But I have to get to a certain distance to use my bow. So you can't pull a Legolas here and be like right up in their face, it's like stab them with the arrow and then use that same arrow and fire at somebody. It'd be cool. But yeah.
And it's unending amount of arrows.
Right? I got 10,000 orcs, I got 10,000 arrows, keep making them. Yep. So melee weapons. So melee weapons have a maximum range of effect. There are 2 melee weapon slots, 1 for each side of the character's belt. Dual wielding. Dual wielding will be permitted for one-handed weapons. That sucks. You can't have Titan's grip and dual wield two-handed weapons. That'd be cool though. Maybe one day. Shields cannot be dual wielded. 2 shields.
Nothing to fight with, just 2 shields.
Hey, you just like smash them, right? It's like bam, 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 bam. Great swords probably can't be dual wielded. Hey, there you go. Great swords probably can't be dual wielded. Still hope. The word probably gives us hope, guys. So weapon swapping. Weapon swapping in the Ashes of Creation MMORPG will be subject to a cooldown period following any damage taken or done by the player. The cooldown will be in the range of a few seconds. For the MMORPG, we want there to be some time between damage received or damage done before you can swap your weapon. So you practically can't go. Even though, I mean, playing Classic now for a while, I mean, swapping ranged to that, depending on distance of character, like that would be kind of annoying, I'll be honest. Because if you pull aggro enough and they get in your face, but you had your weapon, your ranged weapon, like, so you're gonna have to like get hit a couple times before you have enough time to actually pull out your sword to actually do melee combat. So I don't know. We'll see how that actually goes. And last but not least, players cannot switch armor while in combat. So, all right, Missy, guns and gunpowder.
Ooh. I like me guns.
Yep. Sadly, I don't think they're in this one. But go
But
ahead.
it says guns and
I don't know.
gunpowder.
I don't know.
Well, they do have potion guns.
Yeah.
That's a gun. I'll take whatever.
Right.
All right, guns and gunpowder. Gunpowder, black powder weapons will not be present in Ashes of Creation. Okay, I didn't read ahead. Damn it!
Well, this is, I mean, because we've read this before, but this is like a revisiting thing again. But
I
yeah.
forgot.
Yeah. No, you're good. We forgive you.
There's not even a probably, it's just will not.
Right?
Damn it. There's no
It'll
hope.
change. It'll be the first expansion. They'll bring guns into it or something.
They'll have a new
Which-
race and the gun toters.
Which, if they're gonna have a big old ocean thing though, like with pirates and that RP,
They gotta have guns.
you have to have guns.
I'm
If
not
the
gonna be
M-
jumping onto other ships. and
If the
using a
NPCs
sword.
have guns, that could give us a. We don't know yet, but if NPCs have guns like pirates, if they bring them in there, then that could be a factor of they'll give them to us at some point. But
Maybe.
maybe.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna be a mage anyways. I don't have a gun. But for my ult.
Yep. Oh yes.
All right.
Yeah. Go ahead
Oh.
with that.
Okay. So according to Stephen, I previously said there was not going to be gunpowder and ashes. What there will be is something very similar to gunpowder, but has a more arcane nature to it. It's not necessarily going to be explainable through the conventional means of chemistry, metallurgy, and physics and whatnot, but rather the essence is the core component of many types of magic, one of which is obviously going to be evocation type magic, and that evocation can have some explosive tendencies. So weaponry such as potion launchers, siege weapons, and weapons used in naval combat are based on the arcane arts. The elements, evocation magic, and the use of radiance and darkness. So Stephen says, as we said in the past, we're really not about that black powder life. Instead, it's really going to be focused on the arcane arts, the elements, the use of radiance and darkness, and then those being employed in larger weaponry, such as the type of siege weaponry between ship battles as well as those and sieges. A potion launcher is an example of the arcane energies that can be mastered in order to facilitate these highly destructive alchemical blends that can be created.
Yeah. So I guess in the end, he's not saying there won't be guns,
They have a
in
potion
this.
gun.
but there won't be any like bullets and stuff. But you might have a pew pew, but it shoots arcane missiles or something. So
Well, I can pew pew with fire and lightning.
exactly. All right, guys, and that'll do it for this video for part 3. So yeah, so we do have one more part of weapons coming. So part 4 will be the last part of the weapons, and then we will be moving on to our armor sections. So anyways, guys, I'm Brad, aka Endless88, and this is
Missy, aka Madam Namara.
and we will see you next time. Also, remember to, if you want to see us next time, you gotta press that subscribe button, like button, and leave us a comment. You know, what are you guys thinking about, you know, the weapon stuff that we're talking about, the swapping, the dual wielding, you know, the ranges on the weapons. What do you guys think about the guns and the gunpowder? You know, the racial looks to the weapons, you know, stuff like that. So just
We want your feedback.
exactly. Follow us on Twitch and Twitter. We game on Twitch off and on. I don't think Missy's been on there for a little bit, but hopefully she'll come back.
Life stuff.
But hopefully she'll come back with some Stardew and Final Fantasy now that she's not trying to buy a house. She finally got a house on Final Fantasy.
11 hours of clicking almost killed me.
Exactly. So anyways, guys, we will catch you on the last part of our weapons, part 4. So until then, you be safe out there. It's a crazy world. And stay healthy. And we will see you next time. Take it easy, guys.